Hello, and welcome to our channel, Vedic Solutions, preparing for the coming of the Golden Age. Today we're going to read from the introduction to the wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam, which is complete in 12 cantos. It was the life's work of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who established a worldwide mission to teach the highest level of knowledge available in the universe, the knowledge of the soul, who we are, where we come from before we come into this world, where we will leave, where we will go when we leave this world. Who is God? What is our relationship with God? And what is this material world, the material elements that this body is made of? What is our relationship to this world? Why are we here? And how can we go back home to where we originally came from? All of these questions are posed and answered in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is considered the ripened fruit of the Vedic literatures. The Sanskrit language is the oldest language in the world. It is the mother of all languages. And although this is disputed by so many academics dispute everything. It's how that they get money and get grants. I've developed something new. But actual knowledge is eternal, and it does not change. Srila Prabhupada gave an example. He said if somebody becomes a mathematician, it isn't that if they go to England, 2 plus 2 is different. 2 plus 2 remains 4, no matter where in the world somebody studies mathematics. So this is the same for Vedic knowledge. Whether somebody has a belief system in which they call themselves a Hindu or a Muslim or Jewish or Christian, the knowledge of who we are as the soul, what our relationship is with the Lord, these eternal truths are across the board for every single living being. And so when we hear absolute knowledge, and in this time of relativity, where it's popular to say, oh, I have my truth, and you have your truth. This is the sea of relative truth. It is not truth. It is simply mental speculation. No one can make their own laws. We have chaos. That's what we have now. People trying to make their own laws. But when the government is there for the people and are making laws to protect the people, those laws are carried out, and they're made and carried out by the government, right? So in the same way, there are universal laws. Srila Prabhupada said the definition of religion is there is God, and He has laws, and we are meant to abide by those laws. That would be a very different world if the world we had was based on the understanding that there is God and there are universal laws that He has set down, and we are meant to follow those laws. And if those laws are the superior laws, which are the foundation of human society, then you have a real human society with true development of character and qualities. You have a society that is opulent on all levels, that functions well, because the Lord has designed this perfectly. The sun comes up every single day. Do we wonder when we get up in the morning whether the sun will be there? That is the superior arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And those who are promoting the fact that there is something inconsistent or faulty in the Lord's arrangement, and that we have to be in anxiety that somehow or other this whole planet is going to collapse under some mysterious changes in the atmosphere. This is ridiculous. And we don't have to listen to it. And we don't have to be fearful. The Lord has a perfect arrangement. Now, if we go against that arrangement of the Lord, yes, there are going to be difficulties. So Srila Prabhupada, each day we were getting classes in the morning. We were waking up early. We were hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. There were priests who would say, our children didn't even care about God, and now they're mad after God. They used to call the Hare Krishna movement a cult. And if you look the word up in the dictionary, it means a group of people who have a similar idea and they come together. So now it has been used in a disparaging kind of way, the same way that other words have been co-opted and used in different ways that are separate from the original meaning. But we were getting up early because that hour and a half before the sun rises is a perfect time to purify the consciousness, to engage that consciousness in higher, thoughtful, meditative activities based on connection to God. And that has been studied. I mean, they study all sorts of things now that have been known for millions of years. No need to study. Take the knowledge that is there and apply it. So when we woke up in the morning and we chanted the names of God, and then we'd come together and have classes in these very elevated literatures. And it was so enlivening to our hearts and souls. Even though we were living a simple, austere life, we were enthusiastic to engage in service from morning till night for the Lord's pleasure. We were so enlivened that when we would go places, people would say, oh, are you a Hare Krishna? And we'd say, oh, how did you know? And they'd say, well, you're all so bright. You're so shiny. And why was that? We were following what Srila Prabhupada called the 4 regulated principles of freedom. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. And we were listening to the transcendental knowledge coming down in the lineage. Did you know there were lineages of knowledge that had been on this planet for millions of years? And we were accepting this knowledge and this guidance from the highest level. And that is what Srila Prabhupada made available in these books, which he worked so hard to translate. Every morning, sleeping only a few hours, translating those early morning hours, 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 in the morning for hours, for many years. Please take advantage of these books. They are available at our website, purelyprabhupada.com. So now I'm going to read to you this introduction. And when you hear it, you will be so surprised at how relevant it is for us today. We must know the present need of human society. And what is that need? Human society is no longer bounded by geographical limits to particular countries or communities. Human society is broader than in the Middle Ages, and the world tendency is toward one state or one human society. The ideals of spiritual communism, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, are based more or less on the oneness of the entire human society, nay, on the entire energy of living beings. The need is felt by great thinkers to make this a successful ideology. Srimad Bhagavatam will fill this need in human society. It begins, therefore, with the aphorism of Vedanta philosophy, Janmadhyasya yataha, to establish the ideal of a common cause. Human society at the present moment is not in the darkness of oblivion. It has made rapid progress in the field of material comforts, education, and economic development throughout the entire world. But there is a pinprick somewhere in the social body at large, and therefore there are large-scale quarrels, even over less important issues. There is need of a clue as to how humanity can become one in peace, friendship, and prosperity with a common cause. Srimad Bhagavatam will fill the need, for it is a cultural presentation for the re-spiritualization of the entire human society. Srimad Bhagavatam should be introduced also in the schools and colleges, for it is recommended by the great student devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, in order to change the face of the demoniac society. Disparity in human society is due to lack of principles in a godless civilization. There is God, or the Almighty One, from whom everything emanates, by whom everything is maintained, and in whom everything is merged to rest. Material science has tried to find the ultimate source of creation very insufficiently, but it is a fact that there is one ultimate source of everything that be. This ultimate source is explained rationally and authoritatively in the beautiful Bhagavatam, or Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the transcendental science, not only for knowing the ultimate source of everything, but also for knowing our relationship with Him and our duty towards perfection of the human society on the basis of this perfect knowledge. It is powerful reading matter, excuse me, in the Sanskrit language, and it is now rendered into English elaborately, so that simply by a careful reading, one will know God perfectly well, so much so that the reader will be sufficiently educated to defend himself from the onslaught of atheists. Over and above this, the reader will be able to convert others to accept God as a concrete principle. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the definition of the ultimate source. It is a bona fide commentary on the Vedanta Sutras by the same author, Srila Vyasadeva, and gradually it develops into 9 cantos up to the highest state of God realization. The only qualification one needs to study this great book of transcendental knowledge is to proceed step by step cautiously and not jump forward haphazardly like with an ordinary book. It should be gone through chapter by chapter, one after another. The reading matter is so arranged with its original Sanskrit text, its English transliterations, synonyms, translation, and purports, so that one is sure to become a God-realized soul at the end of finishing the first 9 cantos. The 10th canto is distinct from the first 9 cantos because it deals directly with the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. One will be unable to capture the effects of the 10th canto without going through the first 9 cantos. The book is complete in 12 cantos, each independent, but it is good for all to read them in small installations one after another. I must admit my frailties in presenting Srimad Bhagavatam, but still I am hopeful of its good reception by the thinkers and leaders of society on the strength of the following statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a quote, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Verse 11. On the other hand, that literature which is full with descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, form, and pastimes of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a transcendental creation meant to bring about a revolution in the impious life of a misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though irregularly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Om Tat Sat. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, dated at Delhi, December 15th, 1962. Now tell me, in hearing these powerful words, are they not relevant for our times? Thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna.